every which way, and we need to pick up some of this stuff or we're going to end up with things in the wrong place. So that'll give you guys a chance to show up here. We need a little container here to put some of this stuff away. That's here, and we're not going to mess with right this second. So first of all, let me get everything that is not what we're working on out of the way. So we got our little clips here. Our Crusaders that are here. Paints. More paints. We'll hide these around the corner. These are going to come in handy. These are going to come in handy here, I hope. No point in getting this stuff if it's not coming in handy. Let's turn this area on, man. It's like blowing me every which way. It's not that I'm cold, it's in my way. All right, body cavity search glove. Well, we went ahead and we made a whole size. We got the ingredients last time for the Abbas Magic Mix. This is the add-in for the stuff, for the thinner. And we got the colors that we're going to be using here for the Messerschmitts, and we're going to try the one-shot primer instead of the Vallejo primer and see how it works out. I need to just take all of this shit and just put it in a box. All right. Airbrush thing here. Replacement parts for the airbrush. All right, let's clear some space here. James Pooper, I want to brain test you. No. Hannah and Leah, welcome. Okay. So we went ahead and we made this mix, and we added one of these little mixing balls. It looked like a UFO that was thrown in by a spray gunner. It was exactly what they look like. They look like a little UFO. I don't know if you can catch a look of them, but they're supposed to like mix this up really well. All right, so a couple things. We got our, and I hope this works based on where I have to attach it to. I have an airbrush holder. We're going to pop this thing out. Now, this should be able to clip on anywhere I want it to, which will be right here. Oh, hello. It even comes with a little grommet. Now, why did this thing fall out? Okay. Something like this ought to be fine, and we're going to attach it like this. Then this goes to the top, like so. And now your airbrush, instead of it being stuck here on the end of this, where it could vibrate and fall down and damage itself, which has happened to me before, we can lay it on there and it's not going to be an issue. And we can actually fill it with some paint also. All right, so this is in position. We have a new attachment on the airbrush to put on here. Actually, two pieces. No instructions, God help me. From Grex USA, micro air control valve with quick connect. All right, so it's got two pieces here. What this should allow is just to be the quick connect part on the airbrush. Got a nice big rubber stopper on there. So you should be able to attach this on here. Okay, and it quickly attaches to that. And then this one goes on the hose. So we should be able, if we want to pull this thing off the hose, we just pull down on it and we're done. Okay. I think I want it here. I also could just put it here next to the airbrush. I don't know how that's going to work. Is this too obtrusive? Let's see. I want it like that. Yeah. Okay. That's good. And this is going to be secure. Now it's already connected. So let's go ahead and pump up the volume. Things work better when they're connected. Let's pump up the volume to about 30 psi. And now it's somewhere else. It's not vibrating like a son of a bitch. All right. And again, I am I'm an airbrush amateur. Oh, this one. What do we got in this container? Freaking empty. Do my paints fit in here? They do. All right, I'm going to clear this whole area of paints. We don't need these right now. They're just going to be running interference. If I don't do this like this, I'm never going to. Never going to do anything. One shot primer, we're going to use that. There are other paints here. There's the craft paints that we're using. The thinner that I make up. No paints other than that. Okay. Good. We can get that out of the way. This is sealed all the way out. Okay, that's all the way open. Okay, I'm going to experiment this with some thinner before I actually mess with the paint. I don't know that I want it right here. I might actually want it here. I can put it on either end. Let's just put it here for now. I got to be careful when I quick disconnect this that I put this somewhere so it doesn't fall on the ground and this thing gets beat up and then it doesn't work as it's supposed to. This should be just be able to connect that back on and ready to go. All right. All right. So we're going to use this protector so that if this does hit the ground, it hits on here, it doesn't hit the end of the needle and jams it. I don't know if Ben is still on here. It's too late for Ben. It's pretty late. But I had a jam issue that the needle jammed all the way into this and I couldn't get it out, and I got extremely mad after I poked myself multiple times. Luckily that one was not done on camera, but it was, even the compressor was on the ground. So it literally only fell from here to here, and it landed on the bottom of this and jammed it the fuck up. So, all right, this is the 0.5 needle. We don't need to use that one right now. And I'm also going to use the tip on this so that the front of the needle is protected. So we're using double protection. All right. Let's get the spare parts that we got in. We're going to run this with. We're going to run this with a 0.5 needle. Okay. So we got the 0.5 replacement needle that I needed to get as a replacement because this one here has a bloody tear in it from who knows when. It's kind of small, but it's not getting a good airflow through it. I'm throwing it away. You think, oh, well, you just get a bigger spray pattern. Airbrushes don't work unless it has controlled airflow. Okay. This is the 0.5 needle, a 0.5 nozzle that'll work with a 0.5 needle. And we're going to run some hand sanitizer through here. Make sure it's completely. Still half here on mobile. Okay. I never was able to unjam this from the needle. So here is that contraption. I don't know how it works. I have no idea how it works. I'm probably not going to use it until we start doing some really detailed stuff on the planes. All right. This thing's clean. This is the new nozzle. Let's make sure that it fits one inside the other. It does. Just a little bit of it showing. Load it through the front. Okay. Untighten this. I'm going to go ahead and put the nozzle on here. Put the cap. Get the protector on the front. Put this, push it all the way in, close it up, put the cap on the back, and the one challenge is to find the Iwata wrench. Okay, it may not be over here. I was working over there. Watch me, I've left it over there. I hope not. I'm fucked if I can't find it. I'll find it. The matter is, can I find it now in a reasonable time? That was for working on that. That's why I wanted to clear all this stuff. One shot primer, we're going to use that. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need this. Stick them. Here it is. It's right here. It's right where it should be. Why didn't I see it? Oh, that's right. I have fucking glasses on. Mole Man strikes again. All right. Don't need that. Okay, we haven't taken out the 0.35s yet. All right. So, let's see how this is working. We're just going to run some thinner through here. No problem. Let's pump this all the way up. Pump up the volume. Now, let's say I have it, and I'm pulling it back. I can cut this down to like nothing. And I haven't changed the pressure there. So like almost controls how much the max pull is on it. So there's like nothing in here, and I'm pulling it all the way back. Dial it up. So what I suspect that I'm going to do is, when we start doing the detail stuff, I'm going to dial this down to about maybe 15, 18 psi, and then use this to dial it down even shorter when we're trying to use some of the sprays. Okay? Let's make sure we're using Wi-Fi. There we go. Okay. Now, we're using the 0.5. I gotta remember, don't be ridiculous and type that. I really should probably unconnect this. I am gonna do that. Let me see if I can do this while this is live. I don't have to undo all of this. So if I remove this thing, I can't make the mistake of using this. I'm gonna remove the airbrush holder that came for free. Okay. Now, the only place I can put it is throw it on the ground or where it's supposed to freaking go. And it's sitting in a saddle instead of sitting in a point. And it's protected on both ends. So, if I make a mistake, it's going to be a different mistake, not the same mistakes. All right. So, we're going to use this one-shot primer. I don't know how this stuff works. Let's make sure there's no sealant thing on here. There is. For your protection. What does this stuff smell like? No smell. Oh, today's the wrong day to smell things. I can't smell shit. It's self-leveling. Yeah. The other one was self-leveling too. All right. Now, let's think about what we're going to do. We need to prime this Messerschmitt 109, and I've got parts here for the wings and stuff. And I was thinking, I don't want to attach the wings because I probably want to make them crumpled on the ground. This is an old Messerschmitt model. Well, it's new for me. I just built it today. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to attach this so we can paint the wings separately. And here, paint the wings and attach them. And then we can take this one. Where can we attach this? Where can we attach this joker? We can attach it back here. Well, not if it's going to shift on me. And then we can move it later. All right. So here's a 109, and then while it's drying, we'll work on the walrus. And by the time we're done priming the walrus, we'll be able to do the colors on the 109. Now I got my AK tape. I don't know how well it's going to work. Okay. We don't need these colors right now. These are armor colors, and we have our ammo desert Luftwaffe colors. Okay. So what I'm planning on doing is priming it, paint almost the entire plane in the bottom color, and and we're going to do this type of a pattern on it. Oh, it's a model. RC? No, I don't do RC. That's a good way to get frustrated. Okay, so we're going to prime with this one-shot primer. Now, I went ahead and made the Boss Magic Mix. I made the entire thing of the Boss Magic Mix. Instead of a mixing ball, I went to spray gunner. They gave me this UFO-shaped. Maybe you can see it in there. It's pretty big. Yeah, you could probably see it. It's shaped like a flying saucer. It's supposed to be made to mix things really well. Stainless, I hope, or it's going to stain this. And the primer is 70-30, at least what he said. That's what I did with the Vallejo, and the Vallejo worked just fine. So I don't know that this is going to work any better. What are we sitting at? We're sitting at way too much pressure. Okay. So let's dial this down. About 25. Okay, let's start with 25. We're going to thin this 70-30, and it works better putting this stuff in first. So, does this have a droppable type of container? Yeah, all right, let's see if we can estimate this. I don't want to put a ton of this down. It seems as watery as the Vallejo one. Okay, I want a little bit more than 3 drops, so I want more than 7 drops on this one. Get one of our little mixy things. And we got our cardboard here. Let's see how it works. This is a 0.5 needle. So let's say I wanted to leave it at this. Shit, I'm even lower than that. I'm like at that 15 psi. Let's say this is the kind of spray that I'm getting on it. I can dial this down. And this is with a 0.5 needle. And get these tiny little spray patterns. Look at this right here. So, I got high hopes for this stuff. We're going to make some magic happen. We're going to dial this all the way up. Okay, because we're using primer, and let's prime a wing. Now, unfortunately, this model is so old that instead of it having recessed panel lines, it has raised panel lines. Doesn't matter, it was very inexpensive. We're planning on making this a wreck. You don't like to have your chocolate factory exposed to crazy bearded men. Well, we don't want to hear about it. It's not the kind of channel for that. Attention, whore. So if they did have a beard, it'd be okay. I might actually have to take my glasses off. I mean, I've put my contacts back in. I'm actually going to do that. I'll be right back. All right, just couldn't see what was going on. Got these progressive bifocals, trimillion focals, whatever the hell they are, and they don't work. They don't work for me. I'm not used to using them. All right, let's try it again. Trimillion focals, whatever the hell they are. Let's grab a seat. All right, now if I wanted to get more detail, I'll put the readers on. So far, so good with the stuff that I got. Now, I normally would never use this protective cap because I'd get tip dry and I'd have to like basically wipe the end of the tip with my fingers. But since I don't get tip dry anymore with this magic Abbas formula, I basically can keep this protector on it. Now, I think of all the times I've dropped this airbrush, and I've probably dropped it in 3 years, probably 8 times. Only once did it fall on the front and bend the needle. It's usually falls on the side or on the back. And the back falling on the back, the problem that I ended up having was it ended up jamming the needle into too far into the nozzle, and I couldn't get them apart. So, and every time I tried, I would end up poking myself and drawing blood. It was like, dude, what am I doing wrong? What do I do to deserve this? Oh, route. All right, we know that worked. So let's double down on this. Let's put about that much. One shot on the top, maybe a little bit more. The one shot seems to be thinner than the Vallejo already. You might even be able to use it live right from the container without thinning it. But if I do that, I don't have the retarder in. Oh, by the way, let me move the freaking comments on here. All messages. There we go. I won't have the retarder that keeps the tip dry from happening. All right, here we go. There we go. And I don't need to use the airbrush for this. It's just more, it's supposed to be, it's more efficient. And the Abbas thing just makes it easier to clean, and you don't have all these jams, and you don't lose your mojo as you're painting. I even forgot to put the body cavity search glove on. No matter. Using very, very little paint. It's going to take some use to. I'm already still trying to reach that. That's why I wanted to remove that. I don't want to accidentally be used to being there, putting it there, and it falls on the ground and defeats the whole purpose. So there we have one wing primer. Okay. What do I primer in black? I don't know. Blame it on the Heavy Metal Painting Guide from 1993. I'm especially going to primer in black on a wreck that's going to have potentially some charred parts. Other wing. A little too close here. Oh, I didn't like that. That's not supposed to happen. Son of a bitch. That usually means there's an air leak or something's dirty in the nozzle. Another reason to thin this stuff down. So we're planning airbrushing the main color, and then we'll bring it inside. I'm probably not going to be able to finish this today, but I'm going to bring it inside, and then we'll do the standard painting on this. The whole point is to put this, make this a wreck, put it on a stand, and it's an objective, scatter terrain, call it whatever you want. Using so little paint. Where do we put the other one at? Here? Yeah, it could dry there. It's not the way of anything else. All right. The fuselage of the ME-109, and the propeller is going to get bent or everything. But like I said, this is my first attempt of doing an aircraft. If I can't get all the way in here, I will be able to with a brush. We just need to be able to get the main colors on here. All right. Priming the underside. We still got plenty of primer left. Now, I'm sure this primer will work with a 0.35, but I might as well use the 0.5 because my 0.35 will be clean then, and so will the nozzle when we go and do the fine detail work. But this formula is a game changer, and I think this little small adjustment is going to be yet another game changer. Probably not as big a change as the magic formula, but that's the problem, is you don't have something that keeps the flow working on your airbrush. It's so difficult to get better because every time you want to do something, you're frustrated by, tip dry or clogging or anything like that. Like, it's hard to make any progress, especially when you don't have any of those kind of mistakes when you hand paint. Now, even though this has raised panel lines, I'm still going to accentuate them. Now, the other Messerschmitt E that I have is also an Airfix model. It's significantly more modern, and it actually has recessed panel lines. And it's probably slated to be a wreck as well. Well, how many wrecks are you going to make? Yes. I don't know. Now, I should be able to just adjust the positioning of this. And now we can, let's make sure we got a good purchase on this. Now we can primer that area that we missed. Habits, man, habits. I'm like, where's the thing? It's not there anymore. All right. What we're gonna do is, this is off camera, but I got this little styrofoam thing. So you just poke these things in here, and all of these can just dry. And it says it's supposed to let it dry 24 hours. Ain't nobody got time for that. So here's my Messerschmitt 109 drying. It still has landing gear. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to do. It's going to be crumpled. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to use. I can hand paint those parts. Okay, I'm not worried about that. So here's the 109 to dry. All right, enter the walrus. Now, we're going to make sure that we use something that is plenty secure. All these are good. Let's see if we can clip this somewhere that's not going to be an issue. I'd like to clip it to the fuselage. Look, we got the rear wheel that's crumpled here. So I'm just going to pull it off. We'll glue it later. I'm not really comfortable with that. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's put a body cavity search glove, and we'll hold it, because it's kind of heavy compared to some of the other ones. I just switched this. I needed to wake up. I was falling asleep. I've been kind of falling asleep all day long. It's annoying because it's 6 p.m. and I want to get shit done. I didn't come here to not get shut done today. Lewis gun's solid. All right. Let me see how far I can get inside the fuselage. Because there is a whole lot of opening in there. Dude, I can get far up in there. If you have a place that's hard to reach, you want to do it first because you're going to get overspray on places that are easy to reach. If you start painting easy to reach stuff, you're going to end up getting too much on the easy to reach places. Yeah, I can. This is working really well. Everybody awake here? Now, I'm not planning on painting this tonight. Okay, I need to do some research on what colors to use, Vallejo equivalents. I looked at a little bit of it. It's not as easy as just all that. So. Certainly made a dent in your stash in the first 24 hours. Well, you know, we're doing it together, man. I did good yesterday. I did okay this morning. I don't feel like I got much done this afternoon. Hey, look, the propeller turns. My goal with this stuff is knock enough of these things down that around June 21st is when the next show is in Plant City, also known as Lakeland, a couple hours away. I'm going to go and see what else is like $4, you know? I'd much rather do that than like order stuff on eBay or something. As much as I'd like to have some Italian aircraft to wreck at the airfield, I don't feel like paying $13, $14 for a model. Especially if I'm going to wreck it. Certainly not my first time around. Man, this stuff goes a long way, man. This boss guy's a wizard. There might be other things that work just as well, but this is the one I was able to build with the formula I was able to use with the materials I already had. Have it, man, have it. Like, whoa, whoa, there's nothing there. Are Wonderland's models reliable? Must be like a distributor or something. There's one guy in the United States that is not, and it's like they have multiple businesses under different names, and they're shown to have all kinds of stuff in stock, and you can't reply to them, and something Depot or something like that. They sucked. I actually had to file a claim with a credit card. To get my money back, which I did. they have multiple businesses. They've got like one for aircraft, they got one for armor, they got one for ships, and they're the same crooks. And I made the mistake of finding out that they were crooks after I put an order in. So yeah, that's the way to do it, Barnes. Ask people if they suck. Then get that answer, then order stuff from them. If you get the correct answer. Mr. Barnes, if you do World War II models, I don't think you'd build a Lancaster bomber, would you? Just on name alone. One in the UK, so bad, still waiting on an order being fulfilled after 2 years. Oh my God. Hell no. You're all in, man. I love it. Is the first battleship you do the Duke of York? The Duke of York. I wasn't a fan of the King George V class battleships. Not because they don't look good, but the game I was playing has armor locations in different places, right? It's pretty detailed. And the conning tower armor on the King George V class is weak. It's like 4.5 inches. And the way those games are designed, if you get a hit on the conning tower, you're going to have problems. There's a small chance of getting a magazine explosion on a conning tower hit. You gotta get a penetration, and with only having 5 inches or something like that, which is nothing for a battleship. Battleships are in the. I mean, she's got a 15-inch belt, I think. She's got a lot of belt armor. Yeah, see, this is already dry. We can just grab it by wherever we want. Is Armor Fast completely kaput? Anybody going to pick up their molds? I really like the plastic that they use. That Panzer 4D that I modified. That was a pleasure to put together and modify and cut pieces off and add things on. The plastic was almost creamy in a way. I don't do ships. My first 2 models were the Hood and the Fearless. Scarred for life. Yeah, Fearless is post-war, right? She's like a Tiger class or something like that. That's a great name, though. I mean, British ships have great freaking names. How are we doing? What are we running on pressure? About 15 psi. I wouldn't. There's no way I'd be able to do that without the magic formula. Never order online from them. Enjoy visiting Edinburgh and not heard anything bad about them. Is that a pre-order or out of stock? Oh, are we out and it just looks like it's full? I think that's what it is. It's got little bubbles in there. It looks like it's full, but it's not. Let's clean this thing. Let's clean this thing out before we go and put more in there. I don't know, it's behaving similar to the Vallejo one. Pour some thinner through here, get our water brush. Get that stuff off the sides. Blast the pressure up. Blow it out. This just got limp. Yeah, I fixed it. Wonder what the hell caused that. That was weird. Well, it was a quick fix. Get another piece of paper towel. No point in pushing all this crap through the needle if you don't need to. Put some scum here. It looks like that stuff that Venom, the symbiotic shit. All right. Estimate about 30%, estimate 70%. The fact that you can mix it in here, I'm sold. I don't want to mix it somewhere else and then have to transfer it over and etc., etc. That's just extra steps. This is blowing way too. That's about where we were. Need to order from them soon. What was the place called? Magic Land? Magic Bus Models. Wonderland. There we go. We'd run out of paint. That's what it was. Yeah, the Messerschmitt will be plenty dry by the time we get to her. Yep, gets painted that way too. Well, I was holding it by here and I didn't rub it off, but I rubbed it off here when it was too new, but it's super thin, so something like that, it's fixed. Look, I already didn't take my advice. I need to put this back on. Hard habits to remember. Let's not have a problem with that. Sound like a rusty donkey. You go oil your donkey. Now, thank God we have the internet, because the internet we can find out all kinds of stuff on here. I'm going to find out before I paint this thing if there's a pattern like the Spitfires and other planes that had them. It's basically like you can't just you can see the colors that you need to have, but you can't paint them however the hell you want if you want to be realistic. They have a certain pattern that they have to have. I don't know if they were, I think it was only 2 on the Spitfires. And I found that out. And I gotta find out if that's the same case on these guys. Well, it's not that I'm worried about getting judged. I'd like to get the details right, you know? Now, what I plan on doing with these planes is the underside color of these planes. I'm going to paint them almost the entire plane in the underside color. So, in other words, you know, we're going to hold it 90 degrees to the bottom, spray it that way, and everything we miss. If there's overspray on it, that's fine. Then we will actually mark where the lines are or whatever, and hand paint those type of things. But since it is the lighter color of the two, usually the underside is almost always the lighter color of the two, unless you're doing like snow stuff. Unless you're doing like a MiG-3 or something like that in like 1941. You know, it's going to be like a white paint if it got winter paint, and the underside is like blue. So you know the underside's actually darker than the top colors. But barring an unusual situation like that, usually the underside color is lighter. We're going to have, you know, if there's overspray on it, there's overspray on it. We're almost done with this thing. Get a better vantage point on this. And again, this is another plane that has raised panel lines instead of recessed panel lines. Is that a problem for me? No, but it's gonna look, you know, the opposite of what it should look like. I think the propeller spins pretty well. And I was only interested in having it spin just so I could rotate it to paint the blades or what have you. Well, we haven't had a single jam. Don't jinx it. No jams. I don't know. I've had enough. In other times, I'm telling you, stuff is a magic formula, man. I wrote the guy. I said, "Man, I tried your formula. It was so good, and it even works on craft paint." He was like surprised. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yep." He's probably thinking, "What kind of a cheap bastard's using craft paint?" I said, "The same bastard's going to paint a freaking 9 foot by 9 foot piece of felt. I don't want to use Vallejo paint for that." What's up, Victor? Barnes White. I hate it when shops have things out of stock but still take your cash. Zatu and Wayland games are bad for that, in my experience. Zatu. Sounds like some warlord in some Star Wars movie. They're going to send you to Zatu. Zatu Mandatu. All right. Do we have much of anything left? Yeah, there's a couple areas here that... Look at that, with a fan. Told you I had the fan going. See if I can get to a couple of hard to reach places, and then we'll be done with it. And then we'll get to do some... It's going to look... These colors I want to put on this German aircraft, they're going to look crazy. They're going to be so bright, it's going to be like, ah, make it stop. I'm sure. I need to remember. Trust the process. Trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. I'm going to give them a wash. I'm going to give them a wash with not strong tone, probably the soft tone. And then we'll come back and you know, dry brush them or what have you like we normally do. And no, I'm not painting the inside of the cockpit. I don't give a shit about that. I'll paint the seat, but... You've done your due diligence on them. Wonderlands have a good selection of secondhand models that don't go online. Any what's the worst place you guys have ordered something from? Who is like the worst thieving dirtbag? A little too much here. Who's the last person you'd order from again? You know, it's funny. I feel like this one has a texture, and not in a big way, but like a good way. Okay, here comes the walrus. Do I have anything else to prime? Because I still have primer here. I guess I'm just going to, let's make sure the Schmidt is okay. I mean, I did a couple coats on it. Yep. 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 I think instead of painting the whole thing in the top color, I'm going to paint the undercolor and then come in and straighten that out. All right. Let's scoop out as much of this as we can. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to leave the 0.5 needle in here. We'll leave the big needle in here. And let's pour this out. Let's leave the big needle in here until we do the little squiggles. And I definitely want to get to that today. I definitely want to get to the little squiggles. We've got some new tools here that can probably, not squiggles, but the patches. I don't know if they hand painted them. They're going to be airbrushed on this one. I'm going to run a little bit through here. And I'm going to pull the needle out, make sure we don't have any of this. Leftover stuff. Like this. Elastic. All right. There's always fumbles. Now let's see if we can do this correctly. What happens if I pull this off? Look at that. I can pull it off and I don't lose all the air pressure. That thing alone was worth it. Okay. Moving up in the world, folks. I almost feel human. Okay, let's pull this off the front. There's the needle. Loosen this. Pull the needle forward. Looks pretty clean in the mid-range. Let's put this here. I like these things that I got. I don't like buying things and then realize, man, why did I bother wasting my money? But if you're going to spend money on something, it needs to solve problems for you, not create more for you. Wayland. There's a company back in the day, War Games World, that said something was in stock, but ordered from other shops to fulfill the order. Found out from one of their suppliers. Yeah, that's just like dirty. But I bet they charge you immediately for it. And then you got money tied up, so you can't just go like, okay, well, you don't have it in stock, let me get it from somebody else. They've already charged you for it. There was a company, it was the people that used to have, who's those guys that I love, other than Combat Miniatures? the other combat miniatures that I really like. The name of the company is Roundway. Okay? There's a company called The Last Square in Wisconsin. And they actually went to Historicon a couple times. And then they stopped going to Historicon. And they were the ones that carried that stuff in stock. So I went and called them one time. I said, hey, what do you have? We can't look and see. I'm like, well, the guy couldn't be bothered to tell me what he had in stock. So I never ordered from him. And then I guess John Roberts is gone, isn't he? That was before COVID. I'm afraid something happened to him. He was already having health issues. There's a little bit of something here. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. And you know what we're going to do? We actually are going to go down to the point. We're going to go down to the 0.35. Let's go down to the 0.35. The nozzle's here. We got some primer here on the end. I'm gonna remove this because what will happen is that hand sanitizer is going to reactivate all that primer and it's going to get everywhere. Let's take some hand sanitizer to this. Make sure we clean the edge here. You can see daylight through that, okay? We're good. Is this good? Yes. All right, let's take the 0.35 needle. Nozzle. .35 needle, which I'm going to go ahead and keep this package. I'm going to go ahead and keep this package. And then when I'm done with it, if I have to switch it out, I'll drop it in this package. I'm even going to keep this little rubber. Okay, let's load it backwards. I was not expecting not to lose air pressure when I pulled this off. That is cool. That is mega cool. All right, let's backload this. Pull it past the point. Put the nozzle. Put the end. Put the little end cap on. Crank down on this. Seat the needle. Close it up. Put the protector so it doesn't hit and jam that thing all up in there. We're still at 15 psi. I mean, this is like hard, man. We're in business. Okay, what are we at? We're like at 15 psi. Let's drop it a little bit. Drop it to about 12. Okay. We're going to use this paint that technically I can use straight out of the bottle, not have to thin it, but we're still going to thin it with this magic formula, and it's just going to purr. Everything is just going to fall into place. Okay. And Desert Colors Luftwaffe. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a paint scheme that looks like this. Okay? It's going to have the sandgelb over the top. The whole underside is going to be this hellblau. And it's going to have olive green splotches. All right? So we're going to pop this thing out of this container. Hopefully this can close back up. I like to store the paint in here. and Hellblau. Put this back, move this over here, and just take the shit out of this thing with the built-in mixing balls. Yeah, took the cash and prevaricated. I once pre-ordered a Wings of War plane from Zatu, paid in advance, but had to get my money back after 8 months when they admitted the item was out of production. Yeah, it's just... that's some dickery right there. Now this is cut 50-50, okay, which is a lot easier to figure out than 70-30. And we're going to put the magic formula first. All right, so we're going to run this. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 4 of that and 4 drops of this. RLM 78 Hellblau. Sons of bitches. We need to just load it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 50-50. Let's leave that here. We're probably going to have to reload. Let's make sure we have a mixer here that doesn't have any live paint. All right, let's see how we're... Let it get on me, it was wet. All right, bottom of the wing. I don't know what color the inside of the wheel wells are. I don't care, I can hand paint that. And we're gonna do light so we can pre-shade. Hellblau. Let's just set that face up. You canceled this order 7 months. You promised me a refund the next day. I got nothing. And most of the order was sent 10 months later, still waiting for 4 packs of minis. Is he related to Tiny War Games UK? So I was telling somebody about that you know, I had the problem that I had with Tiny War Games UK. Just the guy wouldn't respond to any emails, and we kept round and round for 13 months, and finally got it resolved. Then I found out that he sold his company, and I mentioned that to somebody. Oh, and then he had a bunch of like orders that were on backlog, and I mentioned that to somebody, and he said that they knew about it, and they claimed that he came back and bought his own company out from himself just under a different name. I don't know if that's true or not, but I usually have had that. I had some problems with Minifigs UK one time, but they got it resolved. And I've had no problems with anybody else other than that Tiny War Games. Those mats. And just the underside here. So I don't know if that's true or not. That just literally this last weekend I mentioned it to somebody, and they were familiar with the escapades. Dude, okay, 4 drops, and 4 drops was exactly to knock out this stuff. Okay, so you have the underside at Hellblau. Oh, Hellblau. All right. Now we're going to do the top side. So we're going to switch colors. Let's put this in here. Let's get our Awada scrubber, wherever the hell she is. It's just a stiff ass brush they give you. Oh, it was right here. Here it is. Plenty War Games had a really bad rep. I bet he sold it. Yeah, that's what I thought. And whoever bought it, the word on the street was they didn't realize they bought it and had to fulfill all these outstanding orders of fuckery. But then somebody this weekend told me that he just started over under another name. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, you know? There's a lot of hearsay or whatever, but I thought the guy was, he was acting like he was senile, you know, or like on his way there. Which I guess could happen to any of us. Have you had time to catch up with? I have not. I mean, I was upviewing his video today. Well, I would have been on there if I didn't have to do errands. I chose to do them. The wife was like, hey, you want to stay home? I'm like, nah, you give me enough time to do hobby, and let's go hang out together. And after I'm done with this, I'm going to hang out with her again, and we'll watch our show. I need to be done in about an hour. I like to break up what I'm doing with her, and that way it just seems like I have a longer weekend, you know? I have plenty of time to work on my hobby, in case you guys couldn't figure that out. I'm on here every chance I get. Do I have water or something in here? What do we got in here? Got a club soda. Those things are fucking worthless. Club soda's useless. Meaning, I don't need them for anything else. All right. Let's get the sand gelb out here. Sand gelb. Will this be your first painted plane since being back in the World War II hobby? This will be my first painted plane since I lived at home, probably 1987, 86 maybe. Yep. Marcus, you showed up exactly at the right time. Good thing I didn't want to hide something from him, or would have been like, damn, he's here. Shit. Now remember, this is going to be a wreck. Nope. Don't change the method. Don't change the method, asshole. That was 4 and 4. So I'm going to do this as 8 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A bit dribbly there, but Fitty fitty. That'll be about right. Let's all remember this moment. I don't know. It could be a fucking fail. You know? I want to get things right the first time, but sometimes there's this thing called shit happens. Fate. All right. Here we go. All right, let's do a couple things. First thing we're going to do is we're going to dial this. It's all the way max. So let's dial this down to nothing. And let's work our way up. Like that. Now remember, this is going to be kind of bright. It's still going to get weathering on top of it, regardless of how charred it may or may not be. So we're looking for something like this. Okay? Let's do the other wing. And the only reason the wings are separate is because I might want them crumpled. We have confidence in you. Well, thank you. And hopefully, you know, I like doing stuff for the first time, all of it together, you know. I'll be the first to admit, I'm sometimes scared of doing something. Like, man, what if it doesn't turn out well? Well, what if it turns out great? You know, one thing that helps a lot is I paint really, 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 really thin. So I could probably repaint this 10 times and you're not going to cover up any details. It's a lot of work to, you know, do a tutorial thing or something like that. And then if nobody watches it, you know, it creates a lot of editing time for me. I'd rather just do it live, man. Yeah, but you'll have mistakes if you do it live. So, when people have mistakes on their own, they're not like, man, every time Tony does it, he never has any problems. Yeah, he does. He just doesn't want to show you, you know? See, we don't want it to look even. We want it to be modulation. If you make it look even, it looks like some showroom thing. All right. Now, the hardest thing I've ever had to do is coming up now. We got to paint the side without getting the underside. Look, if we paint the underside, we just have to repaint it. And I may realize this isn't the way to do it. The way to do it might end up being, oh, you paint everything the top side color and then you paint the underside. I don't know. This is my first rodeo. This is my first rodeo and I'm about to get roped. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's do this because it's kind of nonsensical not to do this. Let's cover up the cockpit. at least most of the deep recesses. If we have some on the top, we just don't want it to get deep in the recesses. We want to keep the recesses black, as per usual. That should do the trick. All right. Here goes. Actually, I'd like to turn even less than that. And I'm cheating towards the top a little bit, so I don't have, this is really forgiving because first of all, I can fix anything by hand painting it. And first of all, and second of all, it's supposed to be wrecked. But we're not painting, we're painting it like it's not wrecked, and then we're going to wreck it kind of thing. So let's do this. Back's good. Leading edge. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hold the propeller. Luckily, this thing doesn't weigh very much. It's not bad. The next part I'm going to do is, let's not hit the floor, please. You don't need to be wrecked yet. The next part I'm going to do is the fun part. And I got too much of this yellow left. I made way too much. Let's give this another coat. So we've got, so when we end up washing this, we don't end up washing this paint off. This reminds me of like an Italian tank color. Pretty warm color. Almost makes you want to grab gelato with a fascist. Man, gelato's too fucking yummy. I love gelato. Should I do? Yeah, I need to do this. Let's see. And then once we're done with the next step, the rest of it's all done inside in the normal method. If I'm gonna fuck this up, it's gonna be out here. You know, because I don't have the experience doing this. Inside I can foresee problems before they happen. Out here, I'm a noob when it comes to this. All right, I got about that much left, so it was way too much. I'm going to pour it out, which now that I've thinned it, should be easier. And we're going to play this game called How Low Can You Go? Because we're going to want to get these little spots small, so we have control over them. Stuff out of here. I should be able to just do this. Let's drop this out. Okay. Put this here so it'll hit the ground. Right. Pour it out. Yeah, this next part is this is the part I'm looking forward to. Now, also, the decals may not work. If the decals don't work, I'm hand painting the Balkan creuzes. I'm not going to buy a $2 model or $4 model. Spend $20 on decals. That's stupid. Still have some in here. What? I'm glad I got this this holder. One disaster to prevent. My money is on Tony is going to need more storage. I know. Got to get a bigger room. All right. This color is called RLM 80 Olive Grün. And we're doing splotches. You do squiggles and it looks like an Italian aircraft. Now, magic formula. One, two, three. One, two, three. Stir on the wing. Disclaimer, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Because this isn't a paintbrush. Dude. So what we're going to do is we're going to put splotches in different places, okay, equally. And then we'll start cutting the spaces in half or whatever until we get the right part. You don't want to like get like, I like it like this. Like start big. Like first of all, we're going to put one over here. Look at the whole thing, okay? There's one. All right? And then we're going to put one over here. Okay, and then we're going to put one over here. Okay? I just thought about this, like, this makes sense to do it this way, right? Is that enough spots, folks? It is not. All right, so let's cut the space in half between all of those spaces. So in other words, we're going to put one here, and we're going to put another one here. And then we're going to put another one here, and we're going to put another one here. So much harder than painting by hand. Come on. Get a little bit of paint to come out. Come on. Man, it doesn't want to come out. I'm trying not to pull it back too much. Okay. Another one here. All right. Is that enough spots? It is not. All right. We need to dial this out here more. We've got some things now that we got to fix. What's going on here? Told you I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You ate dog meat today. Tell me you're Korean without saying you're Korean. Go away. Go cause problems somewhere else. Fixing some of them now. It's just, man, the throw on it, it's so difficult. And I know that all kinds of people are having problems with this because I feel like I've got really good control with my hands, but it's such a different animal than anything else. Sorry, I can't show you until I'm... So, I think that's about the right percentage. Maybe I need some that will go on the leading edge here a little bit. Yeah, it's really frustrating for me. I mean, I can paint girlfriends' nicknames on a 222 armored car in German fucking script. And then I have that blah stuff happen. I mean, it's a totally different animal. Now, I can fix it all. It's annoying not get it right the first time. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You know? But I'm not perfect. I just value my time, you know? So let's see if you can get an idea of... And to be honest with you, I don't like this paint scheme. But this is the color that these Nazi bastards decided to paint their planes. Okay? And it is going to get weathered. It looks a little, you know... nuevo. It looks a bit nuevo. But that's how you do it. Like, all right, well, you don't want to like, man, this looks great. And then there's two spots too far away. So we're going to do the same thing on the other wing. I'm going to put one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to keep this thing alive and then pull away from it as I can. All right, still not enough. One there, one there, one there, one there. Watch this one look a lot better than the other one. All right, so let's fill in the blanks, folks. Come on, now it's not coming out. But at least the tip dry isn't an issue. I'm fine with it being really, really light and then build it up. The problem is you just give it a little bit of gas and it's like 0 to 60 at 100 and 140. And you know, one second. Yeah, see, look. Now, let's just wipe that fucker down. Get rid of them spider webs. This is so much harder than writing freaking the nicknames on Soviet tanks, the slogans on Soviet tanks in Cyrillic in a language I don't even understand. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, you were great. I didn't move my finger. What's happening, dude? It's pretty good. This is a real similar color to like what the Germans used in 1942 when they did those experimental just before Dunkelgelb. All right, what else is from the top? Let's look at the tail from the top. We'll do the tail. Again, same thing. Let's put one. Being all weird and shit. Let's find out if we're on the right track. Unfortunately, I can't get smaller than that, but at least I haven't had a tip dry issue. All right, let's continue doing the top of the fuselage. All right, same thing. Okay, now it's coming out great. Let's keep it going. Coming out great. It's coming like really like how it needs to be coming out. And then it fucks up. Sorry, we gotta just make that one darker. Man, this plane's got a fucking condition of the measles. It's got the green measles. And it didn't come with crooked spiders. I got a whole sheet of them. It is going to have one. We're just not going to show it on the video. And keep them bots away from you. Come on, dude. And then what we'll do tomorrow is tomorrow morning, it's a work day, but we'll be able to work on this thing inside, give it a wash. I think I'm not going to use strong tone. I'm going to use the other one, soft tone. Now the paint scheme on the Walrus is going to be beautiful because that's actually a good looking paint scheme. This looks like a melted asshole. Okay. Like I love the way Stukas look, and the desert Stukas I think look like shit. And I'm not gluing them on purpose because if I'm probably going to want the wings something like this, detached a little bit, you know? So they're like, oof! You know, like, oh shit, belly flop. And I don't know whether I'm going to make it like it belly flopped or it was sitting there on its wheels and the Crusaders came in, shot the shit out of it, and part of it got damaged, you know, but I need to start building it like it's in good shape. And then we can go and otherwise. And it does need to be bright because by the time we do all the washes and things like that, it will dumb it down. It'll get, you know, significantly more subtle. So this is where we're going to stop for this afternoon, this evening. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. More to do. I'm excruciatingly empowered. I woke the fuck up. Thank you. I did not want to fall asleep at freaking 6 o'clock in the afternoon. But let's see if we can take a look at the underside. See if we got any kind of overspray of any amount, and really we did not. So I don't mind fixing mistakes, but it's better to not even make them. So we're going to bring this joker inside. And tomorrow morning, this is what we're going to finish. We're going to finish this, the Messerschmitt all the way through to the end before we go on something else. So, okay, folks, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys in the morning if you're morning people. See ya. Bye-bye.